Welcome to this exploration of how a potential war between Israel and Iran could reshape global dynamics, particularly for Russia and its leader, Vladimir Putin. This script is based entirely on an opinion piece from Kyiv Post, Why an Israel-Iran War Could Be Putin's Lifeline. As American missiles recently struck Iranian nuclear facilities, igniting fears of a broader conflict, the consequences might extend far beyond the Gulf. In Moscow, Putin may see not just a distraction, but a strategic opportunity, one that could bolster Russia's position amid its ongoing war in Ukraine. Let's dive into the economic, military, and diplomatic dimensions of this possibility, and what it might mean for Ukraine's fight. One of the most immediate effects of a potential Israel-Iran war is a shift in U.S. priorities. In early June, over 20,000 U.S. missiles originally intended for Ukraine were redirected to American troops in the Middle East. This wasn't just a logistical tweak, it signaled a deeper reorientation in Washington's focus, moving from countering Russian aggression in Europe to addressing Iranian threats in the Gulf. What does this mean in practice? The Trump administration has shelved a proposed 500% tariff on nations trading with Russia, while fast-tracking sanctions on Iran. This pivot reflects a transactional approach. Trump sees Putin as a potential ally in managing Tehran, rather than the primary adversary in Ukraine. Peace talks between Kyiv and Moscow, once guided by Trump aide Steve Witkoff, have stalled as Witkoff's attention shifts to his new role as special envoy to the Middle East. Meanwhile, voices like Senator Marco Rubio argue for a narrower U.S. role, claiming America can no longer be the solver of the world's problems. This rhetoric hints at a broader retreat from global commitments, leaving Ukraine increasingly exposed. Could this shift embolden Russia as Western diplomatic pressure softens? This question is without definitive answers, but the implications are stark. Now let's turn to the economic angle, where a Gulf war could directly benefit Russia's beleaguered economy. Israel's strikes on Iran's nuclear sites pushed Brent crude prices above $80 per barrel. If Iran follows through on threats to block the Strait of Hormuz, a passage for nearly 20% of global oil shipments, JP Morgan warns prices could climb past $130 per barrel. For Russia, a major oil exporter facing economic strain from sanctions and war costs, this surge could be a financial lifeline. The European Union's response underscores this dynamic. Fearing an energy crisis, the EU has paused talks on lowering the price cap on Russian oil. This is a geopolitical reality. When energy security falters, even sanctioned Russian crude gains new relevance. Russia could profit handsomely in a destabilized market. Higher oil revenues might not only refill Putin's war coffers, but also sustain Russia's military efforts in Ukraine. Could this economic boost offset the fatigue Russia faces after years of conflict? It's a plausible outcome worth considering. Beyond economics, a Gulf war could enhance Russia's military and diplomatic standing. Russia already produces Iranian Shahed drones domestically, shielding it from supply disruptions if Iran's production falters. But if Iran, isolated from Western technology, turns to Moscow for drones, ballistic missiles, or air defense systems, Russia's defense sector could see a surge in demand. This influx of cash and influence might reinvigorate a war economy stretched thin by the Ukraine conflict. Diplomatically, a distracted West could ease pressure on the Kremlin and ensure a muted U.S. response to Russian war crimes. At the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, Putin doubled down on his claim that Ukraine is historically Russian land, even as the Kremlin intensified its aerial assault of Ukraine. Could this distraction allow Russia to strengthen ties with Iran and other regional players? This is a potential shift, amplifying Russia's leverage on the global stage. For Ukraine, the stakes couldn't be higher. U.S. support, once a lifeline, has begun to erode. The Pentagon is delaying aid packages, citing global security demands and emerging threats elsewhere. Requests for long-range ATACMS missiles, Patriot systems, and F-16s have slipped down the priority list. Ukrainian commanders report delays in artillery shells and parts, while air defenses struggle against intensified Russian strikes, including up to 500 drones and missiles in a single night. This erosion isn't just material. It's strategic. American satellites and Pentagon analysts once gave Kyiv an edge in tracking Russian moves, but that advantage is fading. As the U.S. considers deploying forces to the Gulf, Ukraine's visibility in Washington diminishes. Putin, aware of Western fatigue and division, may see this as a chance to press his advantage. Could a Gulf War sever the last thread of the West's resistance to Russia? It's a chilling possibility that underscores Ukraine's vulnerability. As we've explored, a full-scale Israel-Iran war could offer Putin more than a fleeting reprieve. Surging oil prices might fund his war machine, new arms markets could bolster Russia's economy, and a distracted West's resolve to help defend Ukraine could weaken. For Kyiv, the risks are existential: delayed aid, reduced attention, and a resurgent Russia. This video doesn't predict the future, it analyzes possibilities, framing this as Putin's potential second wind to finish what he started. What do you think? Could events in the Gulf reshape the war in Ukraine? The global order hangs in the balance.